So what you're going to do is you're going to design your product or the front cover of the brochure utilizing vector information. So utilizing your pen tool to create vector shapes for the basic layout and design. Of course, use your text to bring in the logo or the title of your product. So I like to see you design a logo for it. I like to see the product in there. I would like the general layout, the colors, and the design to be utilized by vector shapes. You're welcome to come in here and have creative license to use to design however you want, however you want your brochure to look. So now, as you can see here, I placed my shapes into a group. So I'm going to cascade this up, and I'm going to go over here and call this one layout. Actually, this one keep it a little more organized. All right, so inside the layout, I'm going to put my product actually above my background. Now my background is an adjustment layer. It's a standard solid fill adjustment layer, and the reason I want that is because if I decide to choose to change that background on the fly, I don't have to go to this edit fill with the color. I can come over here and just decide how I want it to look on the fly, right? So I'm going to keep it white for now, and then we're going to bring in our automobile. So I want the automobile to be above my white background, but below my vector template that's creating the my brochure product. So I'm going to do just a couple of views just to kind of give you an idea of you know, how I'm going to bring in 3D object within this template. So we're going to go over to 3D panel, and right up here I can select a file. So under the sources, now before we played around with the postcard and the extrusions and the mesh from presets, this time we're going to actually go get a file. Target it, hit create, and now let me share with you what's going on here. Now when you download your file, it's going to be a zipped file. You're going to unzip that file in a central folder, and you can call it automobile. Now in this case I may have called it car. I called it car OBJ because I downloaded the OBJ format of this particular automobile. Your product can be anything. It doesn't have to be a car. It can be lipstick. It can be you know, a box of chocolates that's done in 3D. I mean, choose any product you want. Go through there and play around. And in fact, let me cancel this out very quickly, and let me actually show you some site examples. So on your eCompanion page, under the lecture, I have given you several different download places or places to go download 3D objects. My Creative Daddy, 3D Via, and Turbo Squid are the three that I found. There's a lot more out there, and they're, you know, they're actually, you know, coming up on the web, you know, on a monthly basis. Someone has ideas to post 3D models so the community can use, so they create a website. So go take a look around. As long as they're free for you to use, that's fine. And I chose Turbo Squid, which is one of the most popular ones, but I've given you several links to actually to go explore. Okay. All right, let's go back in Photoshop and let's go get our 3D objects. I'm going to target create, and when you unzip your file, you're getting within that file a various images that's actually being mapped onto your car. So these are your texture maps. Now for OBJ, you're going to see an MTL file right here, which stands for Material Locator. All that is a text-based document with code in it that tells the program, your 3D engine in Photoshop, how to remap these images back onto your 3D object. You do not need to worry about that. Just be aware that whenever you use OBJ format, that MTL file or material locator file should be present within the same folder with the 3D object and the images. Everything must be in the same folder or your 3D engine won't recognize it. And that's one of the faults of Photoshop. All right, so there's my OBJ right here. And you will see a .obj extension. I don't think my extension is turned on. If I come over here and turn it from the icons view and go to my details view, Let's see if it'll show me my extensions. Let's pull this on over. And it doesn't look, yeah, well, it tells me here are the JPEG images, which you can see. And there's your OBJ object, and that's my zip file, which is the RAR. And that's material locators files. Okay, I'm gonna go back to the large icon view, or in fact, too large. Just go to regular large. All right, so double click the OBJ, and you're gonna sit back and relax, and it's going to take some time to a minute or two to bring them in. It's gonna show you these units and size, and this is really for 3D printing. And that's a standard. For example, if you intend to 3D print this out, you're gonna tell it, what dimensions to use and what size you want it to print out at. So I don't care about that right now. I'm going to target OK, and we're going to sit back and watch the object come in. All right, we have our 3D object placed in our document. So let's go ahead and manipulate it a little bit. Now we're going to have to decide how we want this product to be viewed. Now let's go over to our 3D panel. Once you have a 3D object, this is where you're going to be paying attention quite a bit. It's the 3D panel and your properties panel. So this is a 3D object. You didn't create it. You didn't create the surfaces for it, but yet you have this 3D object listed here. It says OBJ Mesh. We can go ahead and rename this one and call it car. And then underneath the car, all these surfaces, it's like this daunting list of surfaces. Kind of like, what the heck is going on here? You don't need to know exactly where things are or what these are. You need to know, how you want to manipulate them, but a fast way of figuring out where things are is using your 3D eyedropper tool. Now, before we even go there, let's reposition this. Now, here's our we laid out our document. This is our template, our design. Let's go make sure we're in the current view or the camera view. So I'm not going to move the model around, but I'm going to move the camera around. So I'm going to pull it around like so and give it a little bit of a rotation. Okay, so my object is not being lit very well, so I'm going to go change the surface of that car. Now I'm going to go right over here to the 3D eyedropper, right? 3D materials eyedropper tool, and I'm going to target the surface of my car. So I'm just going to go over to the front of the car, which is going to be the hood of the car, target it, and you can start to see that it's basically isolated just that location of your 3D object. You can see over here under the materials that the diffuse is black, the specular is black, the illumination is black. Well, let's give them a little bit more life, shall we? Let's go to the diffuse and select the color for the diffuse, and look at what we can do. Okay, now we can start adding various colors of our choice. I think I would like to make this kind of a yellow car, like something like this. All right, so when you import your 3D objects, you have the ability to change the color and the surface attributes, which I highly recommend. And that's going to be part of your assignment as well. So I'm going to click OK. Now, once I have that, I can see where things are. Now I can hit my V key for the move tool, and I can move design the car how I like it. Now, if I want the car to be closer, you want to go to your slide tool, which zooms in toward the Z axis, and let's kind of pull this up a little bit so you can see a little better. And then go to my move tool and bring it up like so. Okay, pretty cool, isn't it? So now, how about if I want another view of the car right up here in the yellow? All right, so let's go back to the layers, hit Command J to duplicate the car. This time, we're gonna place the car on top of your vector design, because I would like it to show up right about in here. And we're going to go to the layer. Okay, we can see we have a duplicate layer. Now it by default it opens up all the materials that are in there. Go ahead and just cascade that up so we don't have to look at all that information, which we don't really need. It's a throwback from the earliest version of 3D in Photoshop. And I'm going to click and hold that layer, and I'm going to drag it on top of my vector. So there is my text, and then right up here, I'm going to pull this out. It might be a little easier for everybody to see. Pull it all the way out. There we are. And drag that right on top. Now I'm going to go to my move tool. Move that right up in here. Let's go over here and actually rotate this. And we want it inside that, right? Let's do something like this. Well, we can use a clipping path, right? So our Alt or Option, make sure this is going to be a clipping path. You get the down arrow of the 3D object pointing down to the vector shape, and now we have it completely restricted inside the shape. And then from there, you can kind of play around with where you want it. So if I want to come over here and do the Move tool and do something like this, or go to my rotation tool and get more of an up view. Actually, that wouldn't be. I think this is a little better view. More like this. This coming from this angle, the other one's coming in at you. I think that's nice. I might go down to the other one, give it just a little tighter look. So kind of my slide tool to zoom it in just a little bit, make it a little tighter. It looks nice. Okay, come over to here and pull it up. There. I like that. That's very nice. Now let's change the color of this one up here, because that yellow on yellow it's not a nice contrast. So I'm going to target the 3D layer for the car. And now one thing we have to do is just save this. Well, make sure you save everything. I'm gonna hit Command S. All right, now I'm going to come right over here to the 3D panel. There's my car. Go to my 3D material. I don't have to know where these things are. I can manually select them and get an idea where they may be laid out, or just go to my 3D selection and just click on it. It automatically jumps to what's going to be altered. So let's pull this up and go get my properties. And over here, let's go grab something like a blue. Yeah, okay, that's much better. All right, there we go. All right, so it gives you just a quick idea or basic idea how to use 3D objects to create your brochure. And finally, don't forget, I want you to change your surface color, but change the surface quality. Don't forget, we also have down here, specular. We have shine. We have reflection. If you want to bring reflections in from an image-based light, play around with this. Have a lot of fun. Make again, use ideas from the internet to make a very dynamic brochure. Utilize your vector shapes as the basis for your brochure, and create a pretty dynamic, kick-ass concept here. All right, Steve Burns signing off. Hello everyone, Steve Burns back again. Now, once we create our brochure, we need to render this thing. So let's not forget that, and let's add just a little extra detail to help us with our rendering. All right, so I'm gonna go over here to Bridge, and let's go get some graphics for this, for the background. So I think I want to make a background for the actual automobile. Okay, I have one right here. All right, and let's go to our preview. And let's go ahead and import that on in. Let's go to our windows, arrange. Let's go ahead and tile that vertically. Let's go ahead and close that up. Now, let's see what layer positioning that we want to be in. I want my window or my road to go right behind this automobile here for the background. Let's go ahead and hit my V key, drag it on over. All right, I don't need it anymore, so I'm gonna go ahead and close it out. Hit the F key to maximize. And let's go ahead and bring this down below the yellow car, but above the white background there. All right, that's nice. So there's my road. So I'm gonna position this the way that I want it. And I might want to bring it down somewhere like so. All right, now you may choose. I would prefer a road that came a little bit more. In fact, let's play around with this just a little bit. Let's go to our Command T And actually, before I do that, let's go ahead and make this a smart object. How does that sound? So create a smart object. Let's pull this down a little bit, hit our Command T. You can see how large this is. Hold the Command or Control key and I can kind of distort this a little bit. Okay, bring it on over. Right, just little tricks you can do to kind of, just serve the purpose. Bring this on over if we need to. I might play around with this idea. That's looking a lot better. So it looks a little bit like the car is it's going to be going slightly across that yellow line. Let me kind of pull it on over, and I'm going to play around. Yeah, we want to take this like so. All right, we'll go right about there. All right, now I think I would like that road to reflect into the surface of the vehicle, right? So let's go back to the yellow car, target it, go to our 3D panel. Let's go to the car itself and find out exactly where that, where to put this on the surface. I want basically the surface of the entire car here. Go to my 3D material locator, click that surface, come right down here, and I'm going to go to reflections. I'm going to bring the reflections up high. As you can see, it's starting to get that little glossy look to it. So I'm going to bring the reflections up fairly high. And then I think I'll also take the liberty of giving it a little bit of shine. Okay, just a little bit of shine in there. And let's go to our environment tab. And let's place that, let's say replace that texture. And I'm going to have to go navigate to exactly where my image is, which is going to be in my, go to my F drive and go to my videos folder. And we're going to go to our Santa Monica class. And let's go access the 3D import and original images. So, stay organized about all this stuff. So I'm going to come here and make sure that all images are showing. In this case, they're JPEGs anyway, so I'm going to just hit the JPEG symbol, double click it and open it up. And this is going to be my image-based light that's going to help me match this to the car. Now, I can increase the intensity of the light, right? So here's the color. There's my object inside the IBL lighting. And I can increase the intensity of the light, which is what is done naturally. It's close to 100% intensity. That's what it will do by default. But in this case, I think I would rather just have the reflection of the image rather than the 3D object being lit. I'm going to just turn it off completely, and I'm going to play around with this and see exactly what happens. All right, so we're hitting the V key for the move tool. Okay, here we are. All right, so 3D object, go to the car, and I'll have to go back to the material. See. All right, so let's go over to the light source, and the light is coming slightly from behind and right. It appears. For the infinite light, I'm going to go over down here to the shadows, and I'm going to soften the shadows a little bit. So what you're going to do is under the shadow slider, it's in percentages, and I'm going to take it up to maybe like 25, let's say 30%. There it is. Okay, that's going to soften the shadows right down here. We're seeing a little better job. All right, now let's go ahead and do a render. Now to make it fast, go over here to my marquee tool. You bring it on over to near the shadow. Bring it over to the side with a little bit of shadow on the bottom. Controller command, Option or Alt, Shift, all three modifiers held down, and R for render. Or you can come right over here, this little symbol on the bottom of your 3D panel, and render your object. And let's see what it does. There it is. Okay, so the light's probably a little bit bright, but you're getting the idea. And you can see the reflection of the road on the car, on the surface. And I'm going to have to bring that light down and maybe some luminance down on the vehicle, but you guys are getting the point. So idea is to render these objects, final result, render the objects, and then give me your PSD version and also give me your JPEG version of this to make it quicker. Okay. All right. So have fun with this, and I'm expecting to see some really fun and great projects.